Hi there. So I just wanted to make a quick video today about a few questions that I got last night from the beautiful Ange. And I'll just quickly read you what was said on Facebook. She just said, so I think it's fantastic what you're doing, Athena. Wondering though, up until 7 months ago when you changed to vegan and you enjoyed good quality yogurts such as chobani and meats, were you any worse for it? I didn't know you well, but you look pretty hot still to me. I know that you are doing this for the animals, but when you were in the dark as such, were you sick from the pus in the dairy? Is that part of your reason for the change? Not having a go at you, just interested in your view on this. I see how passionate you are, but before vegan, you were passionate about your food and exercise plan. Then, and have always seemed like someone who takes great care of yourself and your family. Yes. Okay. So let's get back to the first question. Up until 7 months ago, when you changed to vegan and you enjoyed good quality yogurt such as chobani, were you any worse for it? Yes. Yes, I was worse for it. I constantly had bloating, especially during ovulation. My stomach would feel like I had a bowling ball inside my stomach when I was ovulating. It was horrific. It was just horrible. Then my wonderful Aunt Flo would visit, and I'd get massive acne around my neck, just cystic acne, which, as you can see, my skin is like super clear. I've never had skin as clear as this since before I was a woman. So I'm pretty happy with that. So yes, I was a bit worse for wear, even though I was always fit because exercise does help. So like anything, and that's why they say exercise goes hand in hand with nutrition. It's so true. You need to move it, okay, before you lose it. And let's see, what else did she say? Good quality yogurt such as chobani. Yes, I was worse for it. Didn't know you were up. Da, da, da. Okay. So doing this for the animals. That's a really good question, Angie, and I'm so glad that you brought that up because initially I didn't give a flying fuck about the animals. It didn't even cross my mind that we were actually eating animals. I had really no idea about it. And I know, sorry if I've upset any vegans out there, but I just didn't make the connection. I didn't understand that what I was putting on my plate was an actual animal. And to be honest, I just assumed that animals were bred for us to eat. Some of them, I always had a passion for animals, don't get me wrong, but I used to think they were like bred on a farm and this truck would just come up one day and then they'd go in one side of the truck happily and get turned into steaks and then come out the other side and we'd eat it. As a personal trainer, I was always big on eating protein and meat because I thought we had to have protein. But it's so funny, since restudying nutrition, we only need zero point 0.8 grams per kilo of body weight for a bodybuilding female. So we don't need the amount of protein that we're always forced to believe that we have to have. So that was one major thing, was the protein lie that got me going. So yeah, then I investigated dairy. Okay, so dairy is acidic. Dairy still contains, we're talking about the pus, so it does contain pus. That's why we have to pasteurize our milk, which is why the post was written in the first place yesterday, is because if we can't have something raw, say we have a raw piece of chicken, okay, it's got salmonella. It has got salmonella, for instance. Then we cook it. Make sure you cook it really well so it kills the salmonella. Do you really want to eat something that you have to make sure that you cook 100%, otherwise it's going to make you sick? I don't want to put that in my body. I don't want to run the risk. I may as well go and eat those puffer fish that those bloody Asians eat. Sorry, any Asians, but you know the ones I'm talking about. The crazy ones. Yeah, so I just don't understand why someone would want to consume dairy anymore. And the longer that I'm vegan, the more it's harder for me to understand because I've learnt so much about it. And I really want to hang on to the meat eater Athena and the dairy drinking, guzzling Athena because I don't want to lose sight of that. I'm certainly don't want to become someone that's going to push my views upon you. However, my children, when in my care, will definitely not ever be consuming meat or dairy from the things that I've learned, from the documentaries that I've seen, from the study that I've done in my nutrition course. It's not healthy for us. You know, the hormones that we have in our beef and our pork and our things like that, it's not the added hormones that you need to be worrying about. And you see in Coles now, it says no added hormones. That means because the steak, the pig, whatever, it was a living creature. It was a living being. So it produces its own hormones. Now, I don't want to go eating someone else's hormones. I've got enough of my own to deal with, you know, and can't we see that? No, because I never did. So why should we when we're so blind to the fact, you know, and so, what's the word I'm looking for? Just so bamboozled by the meat and dairy industry, because it's a huge industry. They don't want me talking about this stuff, you know. They're scared. Their sales have dropped. You know, why do they think they've got Curtis Stone on there every 5 minutes plugging meat and things like that? You know, they spend so much money on advertising. And to be honest, if something is good for you and it makes you feel good, it doesn't need advertising. That's why I very rarely advertise my Zumba classes. You know, if something's that good, it gets around by word of mouth. You know, not saying my classes are awesome, which they are, but just saying that I don't need to advertise the fact. I don't need to force people to eat it, you know, my class. You know what I'm saying? It just makes so much sense. And once you do see that sense, and I do say, yes, I was in the dark. I was totally in the dark. I was in the dark more than you guys, because I'm a fitness professional. I'm supposed to give people the right advice. In my last 12-week challenge, I noticed that people weren't losing the body fat percentage that I had planned that they should lose, you know, and that's because they're still consuming meat and dairy. It's as simple as that. And it's as simple as the fact that we're told for so long that you have to eat those things, but you can't eat fruit, you can't eat fructose because sugar is what's making you fat. Our bodies are designed to run on glycogen. So when we eat sugar, it converts to glycogen. Every single cell in our body needs glycogen. It's as simple as that. You know, we need to be on a plant-based diet. And so, Ange, when you talk about the animals came last. I didn't really get into the animal side until 2 months after I stopped eating meat and dairy, because I did it purely for nutritional needs. Then when I discovered the animal side, because someone said, hey, you know, maybe you should watch Earthlings, I went, oh, okay. I watched it, and I just spent the next 3 days crying, because it's absolutely horrific what we do to our animals. And then we ingest that meat, you know, we ingest their suffering, their anxiety. No wonder so many people are on antidepressants. And that's where I was heading to. That was another thing that made me convert, because I was always a very nervous, anxious person. You know, might have come across all la-di-da, but on the inside, I would have mood swings like you wouldn't believe, just up and down. I had no idea why I'd be sad some days, no reason, and I don't get that anymore, and I feel fantastic. And this is why I post those things on Facebook, you know, because I want you to see what I wish that I'd seen from the day that I was born, because my life would be so much different. And even though it's changing now, I just wish I'd done it sooner. And I don't want you all to feel that way. I want to tell you as much as what I can now. So if you have any questions, you just hit me up anytime. I'm always answering questions. I'm getting a lot of private messages, a lot of emails, a lot of texts saying how changing to a plant-based diet has absolutely changed people's lives. I've got a lady with PCOS, polycystic ovarian syndrome. Her symptoms are virtually nil. Another lady on thyroid medication who has actually gone off her thyroid medication. And I'm not suggesting out there that you just go off your meds, because sometimes just transitioning to a plant-based diet first will get your levels down. You don't need to shock your body by going off those meds, because that's not a good idea either. But if you need any help, I'm here to help you. And you say about my family, I am passionate about my family. My immediate family, yes. My mother, for one, doesn't understand at all, and my sisters think I'm crazy. But that's because I'm the youngest, and they don't understand how I've dedicated the last 7 months to learning everything that I possibly can to stop cancer and everything in our family in its tracks. And we can do that. Hippocrates said, "Let food be thy medicine," and that has never been truer to this day. The big pharma companies all want to make you purchase their pills and potions. They don't want you well enough to not need it anymore. They also don't want you dead. So they'll just keep you plugging along like this, like the good little robot that you are that listens. And I'm not about that anymore. I'm about shaking things up. I'm about getting everybody healthy. And we shouldn't be looking at the cure for cancer. We should be looking at the cause of it. And do yourself a favour and watch some documentaries that aren't funded by the meat and dairy industry. Particularly watch Forks Over Knives. That's a brilliant one. All these movies are made with limited budgets. They're not out to make money. I'm not making any money by sitting here and giving you this message. So it's up to you whether you take it or not. And if you're sick of seeing my posts on Facebook, please just unfriend me. It really doesn't worry me. Or do what I used to do when I used to see animal, things that I didn't want to see, cruelty to animals. I used to just click that little button, that little V up in the top, and it says, I don't want to see this. So if you're not ready to see it, you don't have to see it. All I know is I'm so glad that my eyes are open now. And I just want everyone to feel as good as what I feel and as happy as what I am. Anyway, have a nice Friday.